Oh, okay. Not too late.
All right, guys, we got Coach Walter here. We'll start out with an opening statement and then we'll open up the questions.
Thanks for your patience. Practice ran a little over, so I appreciate you bearing with me here for a few minutes and let me get a shower. But obviously thrilled to be in the NCAA tournament. It's been a long time, since 2017, and hopefully we don't have to wait that long for another appearance. But really proud of this club. Told the team today the work they started to do to pull this group together started really towards the tail end of last year, and we had a meeting with some of our younger players last year about how we wanted the season to end and what we wanted out of this upcoming year. And obviously we swept Pitt to end the season, go out on a high note. We had a chance to really feel like what it, could look like and would look like if we came together as a group. And we just kind of rolled into the summer. The guys took a leadership role over the summer. Eric Adler, Michael Turconi, Brock Wilkin, Cam Anasti, Adam Cesari, Brendan Tinsman, all those guys really did a good job of communicating with one another over the summer. And then, as you've heard me say before, I thought the work we did in the fall to kind of build team culture, really made a difference. New staff members have been great, additions of Corey Mascara and Ty Blankmeyer, of course, Mike McFerrin, our pitching lab coordinator, have been great additions as well. So good to see it all kind of come together and lead us into the NCAA tournament. And, we know we've got a tough regional ahead of us. UConn, is a storied program with a lot of tradition. They got tough kids. Their number one pitcher, Peterson's super talented. So, we're certainly going to have our hands full on Friday at 1:00.
Talking about the culture shift and the team chemistry building that you guys did, how much did you feel like you guys leaned on that in the last couple of weeks when you've kind of gotten hot with the sweep at State and playing well against Miami in the tournament last week?
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with it, Connor. I think just wanting to be around each other, and when things get heated, we had a little tough stretch there. Obviously, we dropped 2 out of 3 to Clemson. We got swept at Notre Dame. We lost a High Point right in that stretch, and the wheels were wobbly. And certainly an NCAA tournament appearance at that point was more than in question. So our guys really rallied around that and took charge of their own destiny. And obviously headed into the last 3 weekends, Louisville, Carolina, and State. When you got Louisville at home, a top 10 program, and then you've got State and Carolina on the road. That's not an easy draw. So for these guys to go into that stretch of games and play the way they have has been remarkable.
I guess just to clear something up, are you feeling good? Are you recovered from what held you out of Charlotte last week?
Yeah, fully recovered. No issues whatsoever. Had a rough couple nights, but really one rough night and then one so-so night. And then other than that, I've been feeling good. It killed me to watch those games on television, but I knew we were in good hands with Bill Salento and Moose and Ty.
Tom, you talked about the team chemistry and going through that one rough stretch, but then down the stretch of the season, as you entered those final 2 series, you lost the first 2 at Chapel Hill before kind of coming together and winning 6 of your last 7. What was the key at that point? Because the wheels were probably a little bit wobbly then too, right?
Well, for sure. We went into the Carolina series thinking we needed to win 3 to have a legitimate shot at the NCAA tournament. And, as it turned out, maybe we needed to win 4. It's close. But point is, one of the keys was Teddy McGraw. Teddy McGraw came out against Carolina and threw a gem. He threw a gem against NC State, threw the ball out of the bullpen against Miami. So, really the emergence of Teddy McGraw and then Josh Hartle in the State weekend, those 2 guys taking a big step forward was certainly a big part of it too. You know how it is. Chemistry gets you so far, but you've heard me say a million times over the years, momentum is your next day starting pitcher. So Teddy McGraw came out in that Carolina game, got us a big win when we needed it. Our offense stepped up and gave us a cushion. And as you said, we've kind of been playing really good baseball since then.
Speaking of the next day's starter and the momentum coming from that, what is your plan for pitching this coming week?
We haven't decided yet. We're kind of going to take a look at UConn and Maryland and LIU and make a decision kind of what our best matchups are. I think as of right now, probably leaning towards McGraw on Friday, but I want to get a better look at UConn and what they do well. I watched a little bit of them. Obviously, Georgetown is near and dear to my heart. My son's there, and it's my alma mater. So because I was not allowed to do anything, I did watch their Big East tournament game. So really watched a good bit of them coincidentally here this past week. So I've got a good idea of what they do and what they do well. So I think we're probably leaning towards McGraw, but we won't make that decision here probably for another, maybe 18 hours.
Tom, clearing something else up. I understand there were some guys in Charlotte that were there on Tuesday and weren't there on Friday. Is that where their punishment ended?
Yeah, we've got a full roster for the Maryland regional for sure.
Are you able to clarify which players those were?
No, it's just one of those things where, we again, coach's decision, we felt like we needed to go a different direction with a couple guys and get, wanted to get Costello a look for sure. That's made our decision on who to play on Friday even tougher. He played well against Miami. So, as big a part of the decision as anything was just wanting to get Costello a look.
Coach, as everyone's mentioned before, a lot of high intensity situations at the end of the season, going back North Carolina, NC State, and then the ACC tournament. How do you take that high intensity and, in the next few days, go and get ready for the College Park Regional?
Yeah, so it's going to be another high intensity environment, and we've got to be the team that remains the most calm. So again, we feel like if we go out and we just play normal, we don't try to do too much. We've got to fight the urge to try to do more. I felt like in that NC State game, we tried to do a little too much offensively and probably a little too much on the mound later in that game. And it was hard for our bullpen guys. They had just seen NC State, had just seen some of those bullpen guys NC State was seeing for the third time in 4 days, which is not easy. But point is that, I feel like if we can just control our emotions, we talk all the time with our team, the two things you have to control are adversity and adrenaline in those big games. And if we can do the best job of controlling adversity and adrenaline throughout this weekend, I like our chances.
Tom, is there an advantage from a bullpen management perspective to having the game that kind of starts off the regional?
I think so. I mean, I don't know if a bullpen, perspective, but certainly from a rest perspective for our team, keeping our guys off our feet, especially if you get inclement weather on that first day. I haven't looked at the advanced forecast yet, but sometimes you know how it is. You get rain and you're playing the second game of that regional at 10 o'clock at night. And then if you lose, you got to bounce back and play at noon the next day. So it can be a tough turnaround. So I do think there's some advantage to playing the first game of the regional. Obviously you see some 1 seeds that'll decide, that to play the first game of the regional. You see it at LSU all the time. You see in some of those other places, they'll make that decision to do that for that reason. Again, as far as the bullpen's concerned, I don't know if it makes a ton of difference. That 6 hours or whatever that is makes a ton of difference. But certainly if you only got to play, like in the Big East tournament, they only played 1 game on the first day because of weather. So certainly in a situation like that, if you're able to play a game and then nobody else played again till the next day, and it was just more compressed for them, then yeah, that would be a huge advantage.
I'm in a big picture sense with your RPI being as high as it was and not being a host, with Notre Dame not being a host, and with NC State left out. Did you feel like the conference kind of got the short end of the stick today?
I didn't feel like we deserved to host, quite honestly. I felt like we were a little short. I think we needed to certainly make it to the semifinals to have a legitimate chance to host. So I wasn't surprised in the least that we didn't host. I was glad to see that I think we're relatively high ranked among the 2 seeds. So if we can find a way to advance, and who knows, if Stanford gets knocked out, then we might host the Supers. But anyway, point is that that didn't surprise me at all. Carolina deserved to host. I was glad they got one. Notre Dame was a tough call. They certainly had an argument to host, but they also had some games where, quite honestly, had they played those games, their RPI wouldn't have been what it is. So it's one of those ones where I think the committee probably looked at some of the games that got canceled for Notre Dame and that ended up hurting them. And then in terms of NC State, I was certainly surprised that NC State didn't make it. That was, the one, that really surprised me the most. But, as they said on the broadcast, and I totally agree. I mean, there were, as I was looking at this late last night, as you can imagine, I did the bracket 42 times and I came pretty close. Actually, I was only one off my bracket, but point is that, that bubble was, shrinking and shrinking, that last day with, with some of those, the Big Ten, got a bid there and UNC Greensboro, got a bid, from somebody, so that, when you really boil it down, and you look at, what was left after you take out the automatic qualifiers, and the no-brainers, you're really talking about really 2 or 3 spots for like really 8 or 9 really qualified teams. It was a tough call towards the end there.
Can we get you in trouble and ask you which one you got wrong? Was it NC State?
It was, yeah, it was, I thought NC State would be in, yes.
And then, Coach, thinking about just, you'd mentioned maybe you didn't think that you deserved to host a regional. Were you surprised at all by going to College Park? Did you have any ideas about maybe where you were going to go? There was a lot of talk about Wake going down to Knoxville. Was there any, ideas that you had, and was College Park surprising at all?
No, not really. I mean, it wasn't that surprising. I mean, if you think about a traditional bracket, the way it's lined up, Tennessee has clearly been the number 1 team in the country, and they deserve, what should be, one of the weaker 2 seeds by the letter of the law, by that, kind of bracketology. So again, I'm not sure who Tennessee. I guess Tennessee's got Georgia Tech and Coastal Carolina, I think, in their regional. So, to me, I think that kind of tracks and makes sense. And then same thing for us. If we're one of the stronger, 2 seeds, which I think we are, then we should be kind of on the back end of that first 16, playing somebody in that back end of that. Now the disadvantage to that is you're getting somebody you're getting a national seed in the next round. If you somehow make it through this round, which is going to be difficult, you're getting a national seed in the next round. So again, pluses and minuses both directions. I did not think we were going to go to Knoxville. I could have seen this very easily at East Carolina. That would have made some sense to me. Certainly Maryland made sense to me. I didn't think we'd go to Southern Miss or even Georgia Southern, just because of the other teams those schools had in that area. So with Georgia being so close to Georgia Southern, that was kind of an easy one. I figured they'd send LSU to Southern Miss. That seemed like a good fit there. So I think once you started to really look at it, once you eliminated Knoxville in my mind, and then you eliminated Southern Miss and Georgia Southern, for me it boiled down to East Carolina and College Park.
What do you think has led? I mean, he's had an incredible season. What do you think has really led to the emergence this year of Brendan Tinsman? He's doing it all at the plate, hitting for power, hitting for average, and then of course he's been a force, behind the plate as well.
Well, I think it's that he embraced his defense and he embraced the leadership part of his game, and really, I think what that did was take the pressure off his offense. I think in years past, he's really put a premium on his hitting, and as the hitting has ebbed and flowed, as it always does, that's kind of spiraled into some stretches. The second part to that is just being healthy. So I think he's 100% healthy, number one, and number two, I think he's just really embraced that leadership role of that position, and just kind of owned the fact that he's going to be in there catching every day and hitting in the middle of our order. So I think I was joking with him the other day that I had a new set of lineup cards printed, and I just had them printed with Turk in the 3-hole and him in the 4-hole. And then of course we go to the conference tournament, they hit 2 and 3, but anyway, he's been such a mainstay for us. We just named today, important to note, we just named Tinsman and Turconi and Cesari captains on this team. We had not named captains, because we wanted to see how the season played out and who stepped up in leadership roles, and Turk and Tinny and Adam have been those 3 guys for us. So we just named them team captains today, and they deserve it.
Tom, you mentioned Tinsman being 100%, and that makes me kind of rewind to a couple weeks back when you had a lot of guys kind of scuffling health wise and kind of holding people together with maybe a little bit of duct tape and super glue. What's the health status of your team as we speak going into the regional?
Yeah, knock on wood. I mean, I think we're as healthy as we can be. We had that stretch where Cecere was out. He's back 100%. We had the stretch where Kurtzy was out. He's back 100%. Bennett was out. And it seemed like you're right. It was just kind of one domino after the next, kind of one guy bled into the next. But, Turk's back was bothering him. Brock's back was bothering him. But, once school ends, it's kind of magical how our guys just start to feel better. And there's more time they can spend in the training room. They get more rest, so all that stuff, starts to add up. And while we had a very busy end of the season, with that short week with NC State and the quick turnaround, the conference tournament, us having a Tuesday, Friday conference tournament, its current schedule gave us a couple between there. And we had a couple of days before practice today. So, I feel like we're kind of rejuvenated and rested and fresh really for probably the first time, since, like Florida State, quite honestly.
Anything else, guys? Thanks, Coach. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
You ask, we'll open up the floor.
Rhett, how do you feel just going into the regional? Do you have an idea of maybe where you're going to be pitching, and just, are you okay with any day specifically? Like where are you feeling right now?
I don't think we fully decided on if I'll be Friday or Saturday or whenever I'll be, but no, it doesn't really matter. Just whenever they want me to pitch, I'll pitch. I feel pretty confident in our other guys, whatever day it is. So.
I guess for Tins, Turk, and Adam, sorry to cut you out here, Rhett, but Coach Walt said you guys were named the three captains. It's a little bit of a interesting situation to be named captains this late in the season, but if we could go down the line 1, 2, 3, what your reactions were to that when you guys heard?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great honor. Coming from last year, we didn't really have that leadership, and I think us three coming back and kind of taking over that role, kind of set the standard for this year.
Yeah, as you said, it's a great honor. I mean, there's a lot of leaders on this team, so to be chosen named one of the captains, definitely a great honor. Be part of this great team.
Yeah, right along with them, it's definitely an honor to be named the captain of this team. I've been lucky enough to obviously learn from Brendan and Michael for the first 2 years that I've been here, and been able to form some of my leadership based off stuff that they've done before.
And then for Turk and Tin, since you guys have been there the longest, at least the guys we're talking to now, what's this like to get a reward like this after some low points in the last few years, to get a 40-win season, to get a berth in the NCAA tournament? What's that been like?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, all year it's been super exciting. Last couple of years we've had a lot of talent, never been able to put it together. So like this year coming in with a young team, no real expectations, just playing good baseball all year. It's been, really refreshing, honestly. Play baseball with a bunch of young guys, and it's just been a really fun season.
Yeah, Tim said it best. I think it's really refreshing, especially the team that we have this year. Really young, and just going out and just playing good baseball, and just letting the results happen.
I guess this goes for all you guys. I was, a couple minutes ago saying with Coach, it's been a lot of high intensity situations over the past few weeks, going back to the UNC series and then NC State and then the ACC tournament. How do you guys kind of get yourselves in a bit of a reset position and get ready to go for College Park and everything beyond?
Yeah, so I think our coaches have put us in situations in practice that get us ready for, high intensity stuff. So, playing baseball in front of big crowds and stuff, it doesn't really get under our skin. We're kind of used to that because we try to practice high intensity stuff every day. So, I guess we just keep playing our game, and whatever, we don't adjust to the surroundings. We just keep playing our game. Do you have an answer? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as much of a reset or not, because if you look back, I think we played some of our best ball as of late. So I think we could just kind of take that and run with it. It's whatever team gets hot and keeps going. Right now, it's a battle week in and week out. So I don't know if it's as much of a reset as just keep on going.
I'm guessing this kind of goes for anybody who kind of wants to answer, really. I'm sure you guys would have rather have played a little bit later in the ACC tournament, but given that didn't happen, does having those extra days off to kind of relax and get reset, will that potentially help this week going to Maryland?
Yeah, we all obviously wanted to keep on playing in the ACC tournament. It's a fun place to be at and all that. I don't know if the days off, they're fine. We got a good practice in today. We got a good scrimmage in today, so that definitely probably helps us out in the long run, getting a lot of different guys touches that we might not have been able to get. It doesn't matter. We're playing at Charlotte. We're going to be playing no matter what. It's not really days off.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys able to get in with Strom, get whatever nagging injuries they have, they were able to take care of those. So I think, a bunch of fresh bodies going into this regional should help us. Obviously would have liked to play ball, but getting fresh is just as good.
It's for Turk. We talked in the beginning of the season, before the season started, about the team chemistry being a lot better on this team than years past. How much did you guys rely on that, especially in the last month where you're coming off the sweep at Notre Dame and lost the game at High Point? So how much did the togetherness of this team really shine in the last month or so?
I think that chemistry kind of shows, it's every day. There's not one specific thing that really makes that stand out. We have a bad game, bad series, a man goes down, we always have someone to fill in that role. We always pick each other up. I think those are kind of the key aspects, to why we've had, success here in the second half of the season, or the end of the season. That chemistry, it shows every day, and I think it's, part of their success. So.
As you guys have said, and as Coach Walter said as well earlier, it's been a long time since you guys, have been at the NCAA tournament. What was it like when you heard, your name called, and where's the vibe of the team right now, just getting ready?
We're definitely all pretty excited. We haven't had this opportunity before. So it's something new to this whole team. Not one of us has been to a regional. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So no one on this team obviously has played in the regional. So hearing our name called in that room with all of our guys there was a super special feeling. A lot of hard work for Turk and I. It's been 4 years here, and we're finally getting this reward. For some of the younger guys, it's good to get this experience early, and they can build off that in the years to come. So I think it's an amazing opportunity for everyone.
Anything else, guys? Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.